2018 football season is here. Today, K-State opens up 2018 with South Dakota at Bill Snyder Family Stadium right behind us. I am John Kurtz, joined by former Wildcats Reggie Walker and Ian Campbell. Today, K-State will start their season having to answer a number of questions. How will the new coaches work? 3 new coaches on this coaching staff, 2 new offensive coordinators. There's also holes to be filled on defense, where K-State loses 2 All-Big 12 players. And guys, oh yeah, there's the quarterback deal too. We do not know yet who's going to start at quarterback. 2 that started 4 games apiece last year in Alex Delton and Skylar Thompson. Last we saw, Delton was the offensive MVP of the Cactus Bowl, but you go back to the comeback wins over Texas Tech and Iowa State. Skylar Thompson appeared to be the quarterback of the future then. So Reggie, if you're Bill Snyder, how do you handle this quarterback situation today?
I think the best way of approaching it is having an opponent like South Dakota, letting both quarterbacks go out there and duke it out. Before we go into Mississippi State, I think having them duke it out and figure it out in this game would be ideal, because the 2 quarterback system, I don't know, there's a lot of positives and negatives depending. But I'd love to just see them get it figured out.
Yeah, for me, I really break it down in pros and cons. And the pros is there's difficulty to prepare for. It's really like you basically have 2 systems. You have a run-happy system with Delton, and then you have a pass-happy system with Thompson. And then the cons is the rhythm and timing changes when it comes to not only your handoffs, your cadence, but your wide receivers. In 2007, with Tim Tebow and Chris Leak, I'm pretty sure that comparison's been made before. It was the last time that there was a great amount of success that was made with a 2 quarterback system. So at some point, the decision's going to have to be made, but I'm not going to second guess a guy too much who's coaching in a stadium named after him. So I'm going to let him make the call, and time will tell.
And don't forget about that highway you drove in on to get here too.
Right.
Also named after Bill Snyder. Both quarterbacks had their moments certainly last year. They have a lot back on the offense as well. That includes the offensive line. Only 5 FBS schools have all 5 starters back on the offensive line this year. K-State is one of them. They also have Alex Barnes returning. Barnes at running back had over 800 yards rushing last year in what was a down year. His down year was 5.6 yards per carry. Is he on the verge of becoming a breakout star this year across the league?
I think at this point he's already a breakout star. I think the biggest thing will be how many touches is he actually going to get, because you have Silman coming back, you have Warmack that's going to get touches. Delton, if he is actually the starter, I really see him as a potentially 1,000-yard rusher as well. So I think that's really going to be the big issue with him.
Yeah, this guy has built himself up physically to be able to handle the load, to be the back it's needed to be. You know, apparently he's lost 8 pounds of fat, which I didn't know he had, because the guy already passes the eyeball test. If you're an NFL guy and you're taking a look at this guy, as he's been producing in the Big 12 for a long time, he's easily physically able to handle the full lion's share of running back touches. And I do agree with Reggie that it does depend on who his quarterback is, on what kind of Alex Barnes we see this season.
Right now, he's first in K-State history in yards per carry, so he has proven it in his K-State career to this point. 4 questions are on the defensive side of the ball. Essentially, you have 8 starters to replace there. Will Geary is gone. He was an All-Big 12 player. So was DJ Reed, a 4th-round pick of the San Francisco 49ers. There are, however, some talents on the defensive line, including your namesake, Reggie Walker, who returns this year, a former freshman All-American. How key can that defensive line be to getting this defense back on track this year?
Well, it's going to be necessary for us to be able to generate a pass rush of 4. But depending on the game and Blake's blitz package, the front 7, I think it's going to be more of a front 7 job this year compared to maybe years past, for sure.
Yeah, you know, I would agree, John and Reggie, that I feel like the pressure is on the front 4 and the front 7. Last year with Geary, although impressive for a defensive tackle, for him to lead our team with 4.5 sacks, that's not what you want to see. You want to see the pressure come from your ends and your athletes. Reggie had a little bit of a down year, and part of that is because Jordan Willis wasn't in the role. Now he's starting to see an overhang running back, and he's starting to see a tight end chip on his side. And he's had a whole year getting used to that, and I think he's going to be able to step up. Coach Tyler and company have got those guys ready, and I think that Massey and Ball can step up, and we got to peel down a little bit and hold the edges.
Yeah, even potentially Hubert, too, coming off that edge.
Yeah, right, exactly.
That defense is 10th in the Big 12, dead last against the pass last year. The pass rush obviously could help that out. We're not used to answering a lot of questions about special teams. It's always good here at K-State, seemingly, but Sean Snyder has some tough work on his hands. He lost the kicker, the punter, the long snapper. The only time that's ever happened before, the last time anyway, was 1999. Blake Lynch won the kicking job. How worried should we be about special teams going into the season?
Not at all. Sean Snyder has proven his capabilities as a special teams coach. Under Bill, we have ranked #1 in the nation in non-offensive touchdowns. So I think in this area, we really shouldn't have any questions. And Sean has always done a great job of fielding specialists year in and year out. So I don't think it should be a problem.
Yeah, all week long, all I heard everybody talk about was this guy's height, and so I hope he has an awesome season because I want to see some Grammatica-esque celebrations. I want to see him jumping all over the place and do some big field goals. Like Reggie said, it's a moot point for me because Sean always has guys ready, and they pay so much attention and so much time to special teams. It's just next man up.
Well, Blake Lynch is listed at 5'5". Bill Snyder said that's generous earlier this week. He may be more like 5'2". And on celebrations, here's the word on celebrations. Apparently, Colby Moore, who's the holder, will hold his hand up and let Blake Lynch jump up to high five. So watch out for that one today. I think I've got the inside scoop for you there. We've got much more to come here on K-State Game Day. When we return, you're going to hear from Duke Shelley, who is the experienced veteran now in the Wildcats secondary.
Rudolph will try for the home run, and it is overthrown and intercepted by Duke Shelley inside the 20-yard line. He picked it off. It was intended for James Washington. Kansas State ball at the 17-yard line.
It feels great, man. Being able to compete against our offense and stuff, ever since spring ball and rolling over into fall camp and things like that, you kind of get tired of banging up against your own guys and things like that. So being able to come out and compete against somebody else and not have to worry about protecting anybody, it definitely is going to feel good Saturday. They bring intensity. Coach Norwood comes out every day fired up, demands a standard, come out and get better. Definitely drill work and things like that. Defense definitely aggressive. I'm excited for some new calls, so I'm definitely excited for it. AJ stepped up very well for us. We have guys returning back in the secondary with experience. Kendall Adams, Denzel Gooseby, Elijah Walker coming in. So we definitely have guys that can come in and play. But for me personally, being able to lock down one side of the field is something that I'm definitely planning on doing and taking as a challenge for me and myself this year.
Pick six, Wildcat touchdown. Kansas State does it defensively with 11:32 to go in period number 3.
I think the sleeper guy is Elijah Sullivan. Elijah Sullivan, being next to Daquan, kind of gets in the shadows a little bit, but I mean he comes with it, and I'm excited for what he's gonna bring to the table this year in the middle of our defense. Oh man, it's indescribable. I remember my first game as a freshman running out here versus South Dakota, and now I'm a senior. I'm starting off my season versus South Dakota, so I mean it's a great experience, taking it all in. Definitely excited for what these fans got. I know they're gonna be out here screaming loud and going crazy, so I'm definitely excited for that. But I'm just taking it all in, taking it one game at a time, man, and enjoying the whole process.
I'll state the obvious here. Duke Shelley with more on his plate this year. That's because DJ Reed graduated, went to the NFL. He was a 4th-round pick. Now for Duke Shelley here, he started 30 games over the last 3 seasons. He's been around for a while, and he's taken back a couple INTs for touchdowns. K-State will obviously need him this year in the pass-happy Big 12.
Yes, he will. They're really going to need him to step up and be that #1 receiver. He's proven that the ability to cover a lot of these top-flight receivers in Big 12. I think the question will be whether or not he can handle being the #1 corner this year, which I think he'll be phenomenal at. I think the biggest thing that he's going to shock people on is his ability to return the ball. And a Sean Snyder coached special teams unit, we've proven year in and year out that we produce guys, and I think he's going to be the next man up. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him on some All-American teams by season's end.
Yeah. I mean, he's the next man up after DJ Reed. I mean, I picked DJ as my splash guy probably 3 or 4 times last year, and Duke has every bit of those same capabilities. And he's already showed that the guys that he's covered in the league this year are guys who are already playing in the NFL, or they're guys that are going to play in the NFL. So he's been trial tested. I just expect him to just go out and be stellar.
He has been in the battles ever since he started his career. You remember that Baylor game out here when he got thrown into it against Corey Coleman and company. Not an easy task at all. One final segment here on K-State Game Day. We've got the keys to victory, plus the players we'll be watching today from Reggie and Ian next. K-State 23-3 all-time in season openers under Bill Snyder. One of those, 2015, a familiar opponent. South Dakota came into Manhattan, and the Wildcats won that one 34-0. This Morgan Burns kickoff return for a touchdown, a big part of that for the Wildcats. South Dakota out of the Missouri Valley Football Conference, very tough league to play in the FCS ranks. John Kurtz back with former Wildcats Reggie Walker and Ian Campbell here on K-State Game Day. It's almost that time. We are getting down to kickoff here in just a matter of moments. Reggie, you're a defensive guy. I imagine we're going defensive side of the ball here on who we're watching today.
Oh, have to. And I think my guy this week to watch is Elijah Sullivan. He's a prototypical linebacker for the Big 12 at this point. He's 6 foot 220. I love his speed. He's a former running back. But my favorite part about his game is he's a guy who will consistently put his face in the fan. I just love how he's just willing and able to do that at any moment. I think before we end up going into season's play, he's going to be a guy that we're going to really have to circle each week.
Yeah, my defensive player to watch is, despite his name, is Reggie Walker. I think Reggie Walker has really showed us what he can do, and now he's ready to step up and be the guy with the target on his back. And under Coach Seiler and Coach Moe's tutelage, I think you're going to see this guy be ready for that pressure, and he's going to peel off, and he's got to be the big playmaker on third down, because somebody's got to go out there and win one-on-ones. We can't have guys back in coverage all day long, because that's the question right now is what can the front guys do? Expect Reggie to show up and get it done for us.
The other thing with Reggie Walker is just simply he's healthy. Blake Seiler, his defensive coordinator, really stood up for him and said he's got battled injuries last year. That's tough in this program. You can't talk about it. You guys know how difficult that can be.
Oh yeah, we play injuries very close to the chest in the program because we don't want anybody to be able to play off of the kind of information we give. So I get why they do that, and I do appreciate when Coach Seiler, who is a player's coach, steps up for his player and says, "This is why this is happening."
Fun time now for our keys to the game. We'll start with Reggie once again. What do the Wildcats need to get accomplished today against South Dakota?
I really wanted them to set up, I want to see their offensive identity. I want it to be clear. I want it to be transparent. I want the quarterback situation to get figured out. And I really want to see whether or not we're going to sit there and try to be effective throwing the ball, or we're just going to really triple option people to death. But I want to see what we're going to do this year.
Yeah, so my 2 keys to the game, really, they just play off of Reggie's keys. It's leave no doubt. This is a game that we're supposed to win, so we should win with an exclamation point. It's not that this team is bad. We are just better than them. So go out there and get it done. And number 2 is pass rush. We have a great secondary, but they can't stay back and cover some of the best athletes in the country all day long when they don't know where they're running. So if you get to 1-1000, 2-1000, 3-1000, and nobody is making that quarterback run, it's a problem. So these guys have got to get home, otherwise the blitz packages are going to expose us and leave us open.
Yeah, but the blitz package could also very well work. We have a phenomenal front seven, and with some teams, it is what it is. That's what you're going to have to do. But I still want to see what we're going to do if the front four can step up, who's going to step out outside of Reggie Walker on the other end, and let's see how well the secondary is going to play in these young linebackers.
Any extra pressure with the fact Mississippi State is next week?
You know, Coach Snyder's so good about making sure that the guys are 1-0 and only focused on the game at hand, but I think that everybody is thinking about it because it is the SEC. I'm just always excited about the first game of the year because you're going to find out who the next household name is. The household name guy is the guy that's going to step up and elevate an entire team that's just been waiting for his chance, and he's going to come out and he's going to blow everybody's doors off. So I'm just always excited to see who that next K-State guy is that you're talking about for 5 or 10 years. You don't know him, but he's there. He's just waiting.
Yeah, but when it comes to Mississippi State too, let's be honest, of course it's going to be on people's mind. With Nick Fitzgerald, a Heisman Trophy contender, and they're going to have a lot of draft picks coming off that team. it's going to be in some people's minds. So this could definitely be a great step forward for sure.
Nice work today in your TV debut, Reggie Walker,
Yeah,
Ian
good
Campbell.
job,
We
Reggie.
appreciate it
Good
as
job,
well.
Reggie.
Thank you for watching K-State Game Day on K-State HD TV. You can continue to see the pregame festivities. We say goodbye to those of you listening and watching on Facebook Live.